March 27 marks the year since South Africa went into lockdown. eNCA is reflecting on the historic times we find ourselves living in. What have your experiences been during the lockdown? Won't you comment with your video or a picture on our Twitter and Facebook page, or you can even upload the link on the screen. Well, to this story now, where last night the United Kingdom and the European Union issued a joint statement, saying they're intending to work together to solve vaccine supply problems after several months of diplomatic gamemanship. 27 EU leaders are now holding a virtual summit to discuss their vaccine strategy, which has until now been rather shambolic compared to the UK. So for more on this, our London correspondent Olly Barratt joins us for this conversation. Olly, always a pleasure speaking to you. Let's talk a little bit about how the EU is still planning on blocking exports of the vaccine, but how will this affect the UK now, seeing as the two parties are claiming to be working together? It seems rather confusing, isn't it?
It is very confusing indeed, and not only is there still some disagreement between the UK and the European Union about how all this should be worked out, there is disagreement within the European Union as well. That summit of leaders is underway virtually as we speak. EU leaders are talking about exactly what to do about Britain and whether to impose some kind of export ban on vaccine doses heading to the UK made by Pfizer, but also about how to come up with a plan to distribute some of the extra doses in the European Union. There's a plan to try and work out how to get more doses to some of those EU countries that are really struggling in terms of hospitalisations and deaths and a lack of vaccine supplies, but they can't agree on that either. The Austrian Chancellor, for example, thinks his country should have more. Other countries do not believe that Austria deserves more doses. So there's real division within the European Union about what to do in the European Union, and still that disagreement about what to do about the UK. There was that joint statement, so the two sides, London and Brussels, are trying to come up with a deal that means we don't get to the point where a full export ban on vaccine doses is put in place, but we simply don't know yet exactly what the resolution is going to be.
Well, German Chancellor Angela Merkel has defended this EU strategy pertaining to the vaccine. The question then is, on what grounds can she actually defend it?
Yeah, German Chancellor Angela Merkel is one of those who believes that if Britain isn't exporting AstraZeneca doses to the European Union, then some controls could potentially be put in place on Pfizer doses heading towards the UK. The UK's position on this is that it has no ban in place. It's just the deal between the European Union and the company AstraZeneca is not watertight, in the UK's words, and also was signed after the UK's deal. Different terms. The UK put up loads of the funding. The UK would also point out that it's one of the biggest funders of the Gavi COVAX facility to get doses to developing countries around the world, and also that it insisted that AstraZeneca is producing this vaccine at cost. So the UK certainly feels that the European Union is mischaracterising the way that all of this is playing out. But there is real anger in the EU that AstraZeneca doses aren't flowing from Britain to the European Union. There will be real anger here in the UK if the EU does put in place restrictions on Pfizer doses heading in this direction.
And very quickly, Olly, before we let you go, I know that you do like a pint, but you've also had a jab. So the question is, will you be showing your vaccine passport as you head on down to the pub?
If that's what gets me into the pub and gets me to that first pint since lockdown begins to ease, then I'll show them whatever they need me to show them. Deeply controversial idea this, though, here, and we are certainly not settled in terms of how it's going to play out. The government really hasn't settled on its plan yet, and there are opponents to either way round here. Some say vaccine passports are the way forward. Others believe that's an infringement on civil liberties and should never even be considered. But as you say, I've had my jab. Soon I can have my pint.
Olly Barratt, we'll leave it there for this evening. Thanks a lot for joining us there, giving us the latest what's happening with the EU.